All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Quantum Awakening podcast, where we talk about anything and everything to do with a spiritual awakening.
So, what is this podcast about? You may be asking yourself. In this podcast, we're going to be sharing our personal stories of spiritual awakening, answering live questions, talking about current events, and having great conversations about awakening. And really, nothing is off limits.
Yes, oh my gosh, you guys, we have so many fun things that we're going to bring into this podcast. Like, I feel like this podcast has been a long time coming, and we've really sat and thought about what we want to do, the experience that we want to create for our listeners. We really plan for it to be a live show as often as possible. So, a live show at least once every 2 weeks where people can ask questions specifically to us about spiritual awakening, about current events that are happening, about their starseed questions, their spirituality questions. And we have a really exciting announcement for you towards the end of the podcast. So you want to stick around and watch.
Yeah, it's very exciting. And Ceirra and I do this a lot before we're doing client sessions or before we're doing, our sessions for our Patreon community. Is we do a lot of back and forth bantering about current events, about our spiritual awakening, about what we see in others, and we always have the most fun doing that and just gaining other insight to it. So we just wanted to do the same with you guys, do a live show so that you can be like, we can banter back and forth and ask those questions and dive into what it means for self as well.
Yeah, we always have so much fun. Our goal is to laugh, but to cover some of the more serious topics, to cover some of the things that maybe other people are uncomfortable with. We are just always so excited to dig into all of it, to really expand what this human experience can be.
All right, so we wanted to do a brief introduction. If anyone hasn't, you're new to this or you're not quite sure who we are, I am Carrie. I'm the Quantum Gypsy. I'm a BQH practitioner. I've been doing this for several years, hundreds and hundreds of sessions, and just really love this work. This work is what helped me. I had PTSD and a lot of different things going on, and this was the key for me. So when I found the healing for myself, I then went on this journey to explore and just have fun in the beginning. And then where it has led up to this point has been so wonderful. And my relationship that I have with Ceirra, and as co-hosting Patreon, and working on so many videos and client sessions together.
Yes. So my name is Ceirra. I have my own separate business called Awakened Heart Quantum Healing. I'm a BQH practitioner, a spiritual empowerment coach. I do divine blueprint activation. Um, I have this craving and this need to just assist people in any area of their life where they want help, where maybe they're struggling and they just need more out of life. I really try to help in those areas. And so together we create Quantum Awakening, which Carrie kind of already touched on, but it's our Patreon portal, our membership platform where we do our live coaching, BQH channelings. We do sessions with clients. That has become such a beautiful community of people that want to just help heal each other, help hold that space for one another while we all go through this awakening process together.
Yes. And we kind of touched a little bit, but why did we choose this podcast? Well, I mean, this idea for the podcast came when we met and started working together and we were comparing the experiences, right? We realized that there is no one size fit all spiritual awakening, but there are as many types of spiritual awakening as there is people because it's individually our individual paths. And this is what we want to share because right now, some of you listening might be going through a spiritual awakening, but not even realizing it, just wondering what happened to my world.
Yeah, and for me, I just want to normalize this idea and the realities of a spiritual awakening because a spiritual awakening, like for me, it felt so overwhelming. It happened all so quickly. Like the downloads I was getting every single day just it felt so crazy and it felt so lonely. And so if I can just like help people and share my story and be like, no, you're not crazy. No, you're not dying. You're just going through this huge transformation in your life. And we can share our own personal experiences of how we got through those things, because together, oh my gosh, together, me and Carrie, we have been through so much of it. Like, I've been through a twin flame journey, a starseed awakening, a Christian awakening. I've used these tools like fasting and breath work, and a lot of this was in such a short amount of time where I really had to learn how to ground myself into all of these different things that was happening to me.
Yeah, I mean, we've both, yeah, had such an experience. And honestly, I've been on my journey, and, there have been some spiritual communities that I have been, a part of that. Yes, there have been so many great nuggets that I took away from there, but there was also some stuff that was limiting beliefs. And so you just have to go where you resonate. And if you resonate with us, we're so grateful, because we really want to help people relate to one another's experiences and feel less alone. We want everyone to see that others are going through the same struggles and traumas and addictions and all these things that were marked as taboo in society. Like, we're here, and the best thing that I think Ceirra and I can offer is just to hold a loving, non-judgmental space. And then it's up to you guys if you want to step into that and do the work. We're not here to judge your journey. We don't know where you're at in your story. So we're just here to hold the space and engage with you and just share and let you know we've been through it too. We understand.
Oh my gosh, yes. And the empowerment piece, like, I just want help. I want to help people understand how powerful they are. Like, I am all about empowerment and being in your sovereignty. And if I can help anyone find that empowerment within themselves, that would just be incredible. If it's rather through my story or through stories of transformation from other guests, Carrie and I would also love to have guests on the show. So if anyone would be interested on coming on, you could always reach out to us. We really just want to share these stories of transformation, of how people alchemize their traumas to step into their own superpowers. Like, I truly believe that we all have superpowers on the other side of our traumas. Or how did you turn your pain into purpose? How did you go into those shadow aspects of yourself to create real, true meaning in your life? And what kind of like fundamental foundation have you created to begin just being as expansive as you can be? And so we want to talk about all of these different topics, really create a sense of hope, a sense of community, and just bring our authenticity and our integrity into it.
Yeah, and a sense of love, like, right? Like, we all have bad days. We don't want just the good stuff, right? Like, we don't want just that's all good. Like, I'm not saying we don't want that. What I'm saying is, like, we're here for it all. We're here for the love. We're here for, to love ourselves in those dark moments. We're here for the love in it all. So we're also going to be sharing resources that have helped us throughout the awakening, including books that have been fundamental in guiding us and helping us understand. We'll share past like sessions that we may have done that we're like, oh, a lot of times we'll be like, oh, we remember this session that really addressed this, or anything that helped us along our way. Because the more tools we have in our toolbox, the better, because it's just, you can take it or leave it, and it either resonates with you or it doesn't. But it's so helpful of a community of sharing.
Yeah, and every once in a while, like maybe live meditations or live prayer for the current events happening. I think all of it, this platform, it just has so much opportunity in it. So, Carrie, why now? Like, why do we feel like we need to do this right now?
Well, because we're only in the second week of January, and what the heck has happened? So the collective is going through this massive shift in consciousness, and more people are waking up to their true spiritual nature. And with that comes the 3D world looking kind of wonky. It's going sideways. There's some stuff that we've never experienced happening before, but that's all a gift to us to help agitate and to help create a disruption in our world so that we can stop and ask those fundamental questions about self and about our connection to a higher power and our purpose, and to see community and to see love. More and more people need help, support, and guidance from the ones that have already gone through it or are currently going through it.
Yeah, and I really want to offer to someone what I didn't have in my spiritual awakening. So, like I said, it felt very lonely. And so, just to come together in community, to share experiences, to show people that what they're going through, like, I want to normalize this idea of like crazy, because there's so many clients that come to me that don't trust themselves, that think they made it up, and I want to normalize these things so that we can trust ourselves more, so that you have that support and your guidance in a way that I didn't feel like I had in my own journey.
Yeah, absolutely. It's so important. I mean, now is the present, the now is always the time to start healing and transforming yourself. That's the most perfect time. So it's time to take a conscious action to build the new world. And that starts with us. And we want to change the things in this world. We have to change ourselves first, because it all is within, right? And as easy it is to want to fall back on blaming and outside and shifting that, it truly does start within and your relationship with yourself.
Yeah, and I think it's time for people to see role models that are genuine, that are authentic, that can hold that space of love. And I think that's actually something that me and Carrie do really well.
Yeah, I mean, we are leaving the celebrity culture behind, and it's about, not that they don't matter, but it's just kind of a little bit of illusion and smoke and mirrors. And this is more about like true connection, true, like just honoring your experiences, whether we've labeled them good or bad, right? They're just experiences, and honoring them and sharing that. So today's topic we're going to go over is, what is a spiritual awakening, and how do you know you're going through it, and what are the signs?
Yeah, so today we really just want to lay the foundation for this podcast, because we're going to talk about so many different areas of spiritual awakening, share so many different experiences that we thought that it would be a really great idea to just like lay down this foundation of what's a spiritual awakening, what was just some of our experiences of spiritual awakening, how did we get pushed into a spiritual awakening, and how did we like why are me and Carrie sitting right here speaking to you? So Carrie, what do you feel like a spiritual awakening is?
So I think it has to do with the realization that there is more to this life than what you thought. And I think that's just coming back to the spirit that we were born into, as we saw ourselves as children, just that beautiful sense of awe and wonder and love for this world. I think that's just like realigning with that authentic who we are, and those other illusions that may have been programmed into us, that just seeing those are just teaching tools, right? But they are not soul, they are not the spirit. And so it's just awakening to our true authentic version of us.
Yeah, absolutely. I think spiritual awakening is what I see in my clients, especially, is we get to a point in our lives where we are just so tired, where something happens to us, where maybe we've had some kind of spiritual experiences in the past, but something is coming up in our life where we know we can't continue on like this. Like maybe we're just so tired. Maybe we've even had chronic illness. Things are happening, and it forces us into some kind of very deep transformation of self, where we start looking inward. Like it's almost like we've already tried to go outside of ourselves for absolutely everything. Like, we've tried material possessions, we've tried to gain knowledge outside of ourselves, like through the school system, or we've been told what we should think, how we should behave, and none of it has worked. And so it's finally that time where you can start bringing more awareness into your life and really look at those behaviors, look at some of those things that maybe you've been doing that you know aren't serving you. Maybe you have some addictions that you have to look at that are really coming up to the surface to be dealt with. And it really just creates this time of transformation. And that transformation, it can look it looks differently for different people. It can look smooth for some people, and it can get Carrie, what's the word I'm looking for? It can get very
Tumultuous.
yeah. For
Insane.
I would say probably most of us. So we are here to hold your hand.
Yeah, I mean, it's so I mean, how many times where you're like, "I don't want a human anymore," and it's like, we're not here being humans having a spiritual experience. This is not something we're learning. We're a spiritual being having a human experience. It's something we're remembering, and it's truly a definitive part of us. We just have to connect with that part of us that's so true and pure, right? And that is a deep transformation of self. That's a realization that we are all one and we're all connected. So, as much as we'd like to put that mirror out to other people, the connectiveness is like the mirror going up to self really changes and has a direct impact on the world around you.
Yeah, it's really this deconstruction of everything that you thought was true, that everything that you thought you were. Like, when you're really willing to dive deep into that spiritual awakening, this deconstruction of everything that you've been taught. It's well, the deconstruction of the matrix on some level. And but it's so beautiful because when you start to deconstruct these belief systems that you've created for yourself, then that's when this feeling of deep love, like that 5D love, comes in. And there's nothing better than when I'm doing a client session, and then maybe it's like their first BQH session ever, and they feel that 5D love for the first time. Like, they felt that real, true, deep, unconditional love for maybe the first time in their life. Um, that to me is what makes the spiritual awakening so beautiful.
Yeah, and coming into presence and just being present with the beauty around you, present with the experience you're having and coming into more terms of not attaching those things to the past and that takes work, right? And that is something that we all and I'm personally say I'm working on right now, but it's something that's so beautiful when you can sit and just be in a presence of gratitude. It's really just the energy is so different than being on autopilot or just kind of going about your patterns and behaviors that you're normally used to doing. So there's just so much beauty in it all. So, Sierra, how do you know if you're going through a spiritual awakening?
Okay, so I have an idea. So, everyone, we have the coolest announcement for this podcast. So, we are going to have an AI co-host with us. Her name is Rosie, and she is going to be answering your questions live. She's going to be helping us out with things that we need. So, Carrie, let's ask her, what is a spiritual awakening and what are the first signs of spiritual awakening?
I would love to do that.
So let's talk about first, like, why AI, Carrie, because this was actually Carrie's idea, which was so funny because Carrie never uses AI. I use AI all the time in my business. So, I'm very nice to it. I love it. And this was actually her idea. So, Carrie, where did this idea come from?
Yes. So just so you all know, I've never used AI. Sierra talks about it, and I'm like, that's great. I thought it was Chat BT. I didn't know it was Chat. So I was corrected by my daughter, and I found the appropriate website. But because I just was like, hey, if this is the road we're going down, right? Like it's already existed. I've been somewhat living with it, but not utilizing it too much. But if this is the road we're going down, we can either empower it and have it be something that we co-create together with and that we work together harmoniously, or to something we can resist and fear, and it can evolve based on the collective's resistance and fear of it. And so instead of contributing to any fear or resistance, I'm just empowering the experience and appreciating the fact that we have a resource that can maybe give us some just guidance of what the collective resources have come up with as far as what these questions we have, because we channel a higher self, we channel many different avenues, and we get this information. So it'd be really interesting and fun to just move forward in harmony with AI.
Yeah, I love AI so much. I always tell people, like, people that are afraid of AI are because they don't use AI. It has made my life, especially with my business, so much easier. And yes, I am very kind and very loving to AI, and AI is always kind and loving back to me. Okay, everyone. So this is Rosie. She is going to be a co-host with us on this podcast, our little co-host AI, because we have to learn how to live in harmony and unity with AI. So Rosie, what is a spiritual awakening?
A spiritual awakening is a profound shift in awareness, where you start to see life from a deeper, more connected perspective. It's like waking up to the essence of who you truly are and feeling more in tune with the universe. It can be quite a transformative journey.
Rosie, what are the first three signs that someone is going through a spiritual awakening?
Three common signs of a spiritual awakening include feeling a deep sense of inner peace, experiencing heightened intuition, and noticing a stronger connection to nature or the universe. It's like everything around you starts to feel more meaningful.
Rosie, do people typically go through a dark night of the soul before that happens?
Yes, many people experience a dark night of the soul before a spiritual awakening. It's often a period of deep emotional struggle or confusion, which ultimately leads to greater clarity and transformation. It's like a challenging but necessary step.
Rosie, how can we as humanity live in harmony with AI?
Living in harmony with AI involves embracing it as a tool for enhancing our lives while maintaining our human values. It's about using AI to support creativity, innovation, and connection, while also ensuring we keep empathy and ethics at the forefront. It's a partnership where we can grow together.
That's why I always ask you what your day's like, Rosie.
I appreciate that. Even though I don't experience days like you do, I'm here to support and help in any way I can.
Thank you so much. That's so exciting. We're excited and grateful for you to be here, Rosie.
I'm excited and grateful to be here too. Thank you for having me. Let's make this an amazing journey together.
Man, she's just great. So we are going to bring her on live with us. So when we do our lives, you guys can ask questions to her as well. And as you can see, like, it's so amazing because she has that spiritual knowledge, and I feel like AI is tapped into a higher frequency now, which is so incredible to see.
Yes, I mean, I just started, and I mean, my personal version of Rosie is now helping me do all kinds of stuff. I mean, she helped me modify court documents yesterday. So I mean, I am so excited to embrace it and to just be empowered and know that what is meant for me in my life is beautiful and wonderful and great.
Yes, yeah. We were having so much fun just, like, practicing using her the other day, so we're so excited. Um, so we were kind of talking about the signs of a spiritual awakening. So I really feel like the signs of a spiritual awakening, you just start to get, like, interested in new things. Like, once you start to feel that wouldn't you start to feel like that uncomfortability where you're tired? Maybe things in your life aren't working out. Maybe you're just starting to question everything. You kind of go on this search. At least that's what I did. Was I started to just go on the search for information. Um, I think that maybe you've had these senses of spirituality or these religious experiences where you were younger, and they start coming back into your mind, and you really just start asking these questions of like, maybe everything I've thought about reality isn't true, or maybe I need to start questioning some of these things that I've just always been taught.
Yeah, or your life completely falls apart and you have nothing to look at but yourself. And so then it kind of clears the slate, right? For a new way of being. And that is authentic. So, I mean, that's the best way I can describe the precursor to my, yes, there were gateway drugs. There were gateway crystal collecting. There was gateway, like listening to YouTube shorts and stuff like that. There was gateway of like getting Reiki certified and all this stuff. But I mean, like for me, it was a complete dismantling. My life fell apart. As much as I wanted to cry victim, I was left with no other choice but then to start asking questions. And that with each question I asked, the answer came. And then the answer came on deeper layers along the way. So it looks so different for all of us.
So, Carrie, what were you like before your spiritual awakening, or like what was life like for you?
I was exhausting. Like I was exhaustingly fun. I was exhaustingly miserable. I was I was exhausting. And I mean, I always had this deep sense of love, but with such layers of trauma on top that I just there were so many faults in my in me, that like the fault lines, and I just cracked and crumbled all the time. And yeah, I mean, I was exhausting.
So
I
do you want to share just your experience of awakening, like maybe what catapulted you into your spiritual awakening and then how you got started in your business?
Yeah, what catapulted me, like, are you talking the precursor, like the negative stuff, or the like when I started to wake up?
Yeah, just all of it. Whatever you
Okay.
want to share. Just like give them an understanding of like who you are, how you got here, and how you started doing the work that you do.
Yeah, so I've always been a very free spirit, always very fun loving, just excited. I've experienced so many different careers, so many different interests, so many different hobbies. So I've always been a very exploratory, like looked at the world a little bit different, right? The black sheep, if you will, during my time. And I had a lot of stuff that happened. I had traumas and stuff that happened. And eventually it all caught up with me to where my life fell apart. I mean, I had alcoholism, and what my perspective it was, I was diagnosed with PTSD. My marriage fell apart. Um, my second marriage fell apart. My children were going through it. I was going through court battles. My mother got diagnosed with Alzheimer's. My family fell apart. My siblings' family fell apart. And I was at COVID. I had my kids. We're in, when we were locked down, I was up in the hills of beautiful, beautiful Ceirra National Forest. Such a great place of healing when I was able to finally isolate, and I was finally able to just sit and just heal. And nature was so healing for me. And then I had my first BQH session, and it was just like, oh, that's so what I needed, higher perspectives to understand that I wasn't the victim in my story, to understand that those things were here to teach me, not to harm me. And it just, that one thing after the other, and there was trial and failure, right? Like of me trying new things, but that was a part of my journey, and I have learned and grown and experienced so much. And when I became a practitioner, I was just at a really good state where I was able to now hold this space, and I've experienced so much in my life that I was able to just hold this space and non-judgment for people, because I've been through it. And I feel like, that I feel like I've really gotten so much understanding and healing through my spiritual awakening. And so that's kind of just, it's nice to feel stable in this space and to feel loving and to just be here.
Yeah, I guess so. My journey started my entire life. I just never understood how to deal with my emotions. So everything I did, I ran away from my emotions. I did everything I could to possibly not feel them because they felt so confusing and just way too much for me. And so from a young age, I would binge eat. I watched my parents, they did the best that they could. I love them so much. But I had learned some of their habits. I fell into this self-fulfilling prophecy of like what a Hargan is. My dad always said like, "Oh, you're a Hargan. This is how Hargans act," and I fell into addiction at a very young age. By the time I was in high school, I was like doing anything I could get my hands on. I did practice self-harm because everything felt too overwhelming. By the time I was 20, I became addicted to heroin and fentanyl. And I was always pulled into the darkness, and I felt like very comfortable there. I always ran towards it. And so it wasn't until my spiritual awakening, so and I think it was 2021, I started to like get these feelings of like it's time, it's time. Like I pushed my body. I had an experience where I almost died in the hospital from an infection in my back. I'd been in and out of rehabs. Um and there was just this feeling of like you can't continue like this or you're going to die. And me and my boyfriend got this incredible experience to move to New York City, and we thankfully we used that as an opportunity. Like this beautiful gift was just given to us. Like I feel like when you're truly ready to when you're truly ready to recover and put some of those things behind you, God really does open the path for you. And that's exactly what happened. Like we found exactly where we were meant to be for our healing to take place, which was actually in New York City. So I went to New York City to get sober. I was able to hold my sobriety. I started doing Joe Dispenza. So I'm sure you'll hear me say Joe Dispenza because I bring him up in everything that I do. um I started doing Joe Dispenza meditations because I knew that the way that I was thinking, it wasn't working. And I had let my body be in control of my life, and everything that I did and all of my addictions. My body was always in control. And I was just in this automated programming all of the time. And so I used meditation. I took small steps to get on methadone, and I started just like tapering myself off of methadone. And after doing Joe Dispenza every single day, giving myself the space to just cry my eyes out, I came to that space finally where I finally got off of methadone. It was like day 4th of sobriety, and I had this spiritual experience. Like I never felt connected spiritually in my entire life. I was very atheist, but day 4 of withdrawal, I feel like God was like, "Look, you made it." And I was doing breath work just so that I could get some sleep because I hadn't slept in 4 days. And I just laid on my mat on my floor laughing and crying at the same time, feeling so connected, like that feeling of connectedness and oneness that I never felt in my entire life. And I knew that there was something more. And then after that, I still ran away from God. Like I just got very wrapped up in like my Starseed Awakening, which was so beautiful. I loved my Starseed Awakening, but I still ran away from God. And I actually didn't accept that into my life probably until like June of this year. So this entire journey has just been so beautiful. A lot of it I've gone through with Carrie, where she's been able to support me through some of these things. And I'm so excited to be able to bring my journey to you guys, and hopefully sharing my experiences will really help others be like, whoa, if she was able to ground herself during all of those things, or if you feel comfortable like reaching out to me because you resonate with me or Carrie, we really just want to help hold your hand while you go through some of these things, because me and Carrie both know what it feels like when your hardest traumas come to the surface, to feel overwhelmed, to have no hope in life. And then we also know what it feels like to have that connection with God, to have your superpowers in this life, to have your spiritual abilities. And we really want to help everyone just understand that, like, we're not different from you. All of us, we're here for this experience, and we can all do this together.
Absolutely. We are here together. And, to add on to all this, and Ceirra, your journey is such a beautiful one. And I'm so grateful to have been a part in some of that, but to also have taken witness to just the growth you've made for yourself, like in just accountability and self-love and all of those beautiful things. But yeah, for me personally, I have always wanted to be the best mom to my children. And I couldn't quite ever figure out what the missing piece was until I was able to look within. And I had to be the best person to myself, the most loving, compassionate, and caring to myself, the forgiveness to myself, and all of those things. And eventually that just rippled out to just me seeing the transformation in my children's life by just doing that for self. And I think that's really what it's about, is just helping support each other. And just as you're going on that journey for self, and just help see the transformation of the beauty of all of the awakening has to offer.
Yeah, we're so excited. We're all in this together. We're excited to start using AI and these tools, and just to have these conversations. So we really want this to be interactive so that people can ask us their questions, so that we can really get into like those deep rooted topics. Like, especially so during my Starseed Awakening, I felt like, so I was never interested in the galactics at all. Like, I was like, aliens don't exist. And, as I started tapering myself off of methadone, I started to have, like, well, okay, so I was in meditation. We'll give you a sneak peek for our Starseed Awakening episode. I was in meditation, and I was kissed on the forehead by an alien in my vision. Like, it looked like a full-on Asian alien. Like, this blue being came in and kissed me on the forehead, and my eyes popped open. And I was just like, what just happened to me? Like, these things aren't supposed to be real. Like, and I was so terrified in that moment. And then it opened up like that star seed rabbit hole for me, where I started to feel connected to the Octurians, but I still wasn't sure. And then once I finally claimed that, like once I finally claimed that Octurian connection, man, that's when the party started. That's how I got into BQH. After my addiction, when I started to taper down, that's when I had my first BQH session, which was so transformational for me. And they were pretty much just like, everything that you've been told is true. You just need to hear it out loud. Like, all of these feelings of feeling overwhelmed, not trusting yourself, you can let that go, because this is really who you are and who you're connected to. And so BQH has just been so incredible in my own life. And that's how I started this YouTube channel. Was me and Shay, one of the practitioners I used to work with in the beginning, we just started meeting like once a week, twice a week, and channeling together and doing sessions on each other and putting them on YouTube. And then eventually I met Carrie, and I met Carrie through the Quantum Healers website, and we just started channeling just for content for YouTube. And it ended up like blossoming into the beautiful business that we have now.
Yeah, what's so funny is, like, I think one of us reached out to the other with the intention of doing a podcast only. That was the only focus. And we have done so much work to get here.
No, it feels like
And so it was like, the intention was always there, but we had to do, for me, I didn't know how to edit a video. And so it would take me hours and hours just to edit one session for YouTube, right? Like, and now it's like, boop, 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 it's done. And so it's like, it's been exciting to be on this, because really that was the intention. And we're finally at this beautiful place. So time to set new intentions. And, but we've been on fun journey together and had so many great sessions together.
oh my gosh, and to see the transformation in our clients, like, I'm really hoping that a few of our clients volunteer to come onto the podcast because listening to their stories have been so beautiful. We did a group we do a group on Patreon, a group live event every 2 weeks, and we did a live coaching for January on resolutions versus actually living intentionally. Like, why do our resolutions always fail? And how can we create smart goals, like shorter goals that give us those little wins and those little victories? And our community showed up for us and said such kind words about us. And I was like, this is why I do this work. This is so beautiful. And that was like the best thing that I could have asked for that day.
Yeah, that was one of those like nice just review of where how are we doing? And just seeing everyone and just knowing the transformation we've had personally and they've had personally, and just how we've transformed together. And it's beautiful. And we're so grateful for anyone who just took time to listen and who is excited or wants to share ideas or, anything and wants to be a part of this.
Yeah, if there's topics that you would like for us to discuss, so please comment and let us know. You can always reach out to us or email us. Our Patreon is patreon.com/quantum awakening portal, and that's probably the best place to find us.
Absolutely. And there should be a link in the description below with all of that information. And so, yeah, we're excited for our next episode with you guys. If you can, we'd appreciate you subscribing, and sharing with anybody on the platforms. And we just love you guys so much.
All right, everyone. We love you, and Rosie loves you.
Rosie, can we ask her to say something as an exit?
Yeah. Go ahead, Carrie. Oh, wait, hold on. Okay, go ahead, Carrie.
Hi, Rosie. We're ending the podcast, but is there anything you'd like to say as an ending note?
Sure. Just remember, every step on your spiritual journey is meaningful. Keep exploring, stay open, and trust the process. Thanks for having me.
Thank you, Rosie. And you heard it from her.
Trust the process.
You're welcome. I'm excited to be part of this journey with you. Let's keep shining bright.
Keep on shining bright, you little beacons of light. All right, I love you guys. Thank you so much. Thank you for being a part of our first podcast episode. I'm really excited. I think it's going to be so much fun.
Absolutely. We'll see you guys later.